بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى أهل بيت الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على Merciful Allah, spare me long enough so that I may complete my mission. In remembrance of his undying love and loyalty for his and our Master Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, strengthen your love and loyalty with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. The second in remembrance of his sister al-Masa'ib Zainab, salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. And the third in allegiance and honor of our current Imam Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman, salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. I'll begin with a narration from Imam Ali alayhi salam, in which he says, "Verily there is no price for your soul except paradise, so do not sell it for anything less." Muharram is a time that we all come together and we gather in these majalis. It's meant to be a time that we evaluate and we recalibrate our lives to that of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. We come, we socialize, we eat, we talk, but if we're not going away with any lessons from the speeches and we don't know what changes to make, then what use are these gatherings? As you know the saying, if it isn't broken, then don't fix it. But how many of us can honestly sit here with our hand on our heart and say that society isn't broken, that our families are not broken, that our relationships with our husbands and wives and children isn't broken? And if it is broken and we know it's broken, then what steps are we taking to correct it? This isn't wajibul kifai, it's wajibul aini. Wajibul kifai means that, okay, if someone's doing it, then they're doing it. No need for me to also act. But no, we have to act. Each and every one of us have a duty in this line that we have to pull our weight. Because if we don't act, then we are only contributing to the problem. So this is wajibul aini. In the Quran, in Surah As-Sad, verse 82, the devil promises openly, "I swear by your majesty, O Allah, that I will misguide each and every single one of them." But these attacks that we see don't come from a horned being with a tail and a pitchfork. If it did, then we would see it and we would defend ourselves. We would run the other way. We would put our fingers in our ears and not listen. No. The attacks that face our families and our society come hidden, come camouflaged, come silently. Oftentimes they present themselves through friends and through influencers or role models. Oftentimes these attacks, we even sit there and proudly say, "Chaqad roshan fikre." These attacks come as in the form of waswas khannas and min al-jinnati wan-nas. Over the coming days, you will hear a series of English lectures that will present to you many of these attacks and in which ways they present themselves and how we have been fooled over the many years that we've lived and how it's changed our lives and how it will continue to affect us. You see, it's very much like a worm that enters into an apple, only leaving a very small hole on the outside. Yet inside it has infiltrated and rotted the core of the apple. From the outside you see a beautiful apple, but when you open it, that's when you see the damage that's happened. You see, in our lives, the prayers are there, the fasting is there, the Hajj is there, the hijab is there, and these majalis for Hussein are everywhere. Yet when you look deep inside the souls and hearts of our children, you see that there is no hope and no determination. They say that Akhir al-Zaman, even the Shia themselves will begin to doubt the very existence of the Mahdi. Ajalallahu ta'ala Faraj al-Sharif. One of the largest attacks that we face in society is on the education and discipline of our children. We've left this task to the schools, to the friends, to the government, and to social media. Voddie Baucham, which is a renowned Christian priest in the US, he says that we cannot continue to send our children to Caesar for their education and then be surprised when they return home as Romans. We've left our children to these institutions and then we're surprised that they don't take our path that we have shown. They don't take our advice, but someone else's advice. Now, what does discipline mean? Discipline comes from the word discipulus, which literally means to be a student or to study. Hence, when they say the disciples of Jesus, it doesn't mean the followers of Jesus. It means those who studied under Jesus and who studied through Jesus in order to follow a certain path. Hence, they call them disciples. But when we say we're going to discipline our children, the first thing that comes to our mind is hitting them, shouting at them, reprimanding them, sending them to their room, taking away or confiscating their mobile phones or tablets or whatever it is that they have. We think of all the negative sides of discipline, but never the positive side of discipline, which is actually to impart knowledge. When somebody studies, it requires a devotion of time and affection in order to teach them something. Now we've just presented the problem itself. There is no devotion of time or attention to our children. We've left them to the schools, 8 hours there, being infiltrated and brainwashed with any and every kind of thing. The LGBTQ movement, which is now compulsory under UK law. And you as parents have no right to remove your child from those lessons. They have to learn it. In primary school even. Then apart from that, we have Big Bang, evolution, we come from monkeys. We have each and every kind of weird theory out there infiltrating our children. And then they come home and they're received by parents who are on their phone. Oh, salam Baba, how are you? Yes, yes. Did you even enjoy your day? We're looking at our mobile phones or busy on our laptops, and we don't even have eye communication with our own sons and daughters. What little time we have is maybe at the dinner table, if we're lucky, to even sit round as a family and maybe stare very blankly at each other while we're eating, if we even stare at each other. So the problem here is that the lack of devotion to time and attention. You see, some of us may be sitting here now, and I get these comments sometimes. People come to me and say, oh, man, we've messed up pretty bad, haven't we? What can we do now? What can we possibly do to fix it? Well, yes, maybe we have messed up, but we are still grandfathers and grandmothers to our children's children. We are still aunties and uncles in the community. We are still elders in the community. Why can't we fix it now? Why can't we do something to repair the damage that has been happening? Now, refusing to log those intentional hours leads to this mess that we see in the society today. That it's just a shell of what it should be. The inside, the core is rotten. And soon you'll see that not just the core, but even the outside is rotting. It's very much like a Wi-Fi router. This connection you have to have, the closer you are to the router, the stronger your signal on your phone. The closer you are to your children, the stronger that connection. That when you do tell them, Baba, don't do this, or don't do that, or do this way, or do that, they listen because that connection is close and strong. That downloading of information to another device, from this device to that device, is strong. But when it's obstructed by walls, being friends, or teachers and other people or influencers on YouTube and TikTok and Snapchat, and I can go on and on with a list of apps that even now 6, 7, 8-year-olds have access to their parents' phones and are scrolling these endlessly. Then what fighting chance do we have? Why do we sit there surprised that they don't listen to us anymore? What effort did we make to this devotion of time and attention? The biggest thing that you can give to your son or daughter is not a new car or this or that or clothes or food. The biggest thing you can do is give them self-confidence and self-esteem. That is the biggest part of discipline. Self-esteem is how they view themselves and how they value themselves. And how they view and value themselves has a direct impact on their decision-making process, every decision they're faced with. And we're faced with millions of decisions a day. And it also affects their relationships, and it also affects even their health and well-being. This self-esteem is not to be taken lightly. They did a study of 454 inner city Boston students. This was a study done by Harvard, and it lasted 70 years. It's the longest study ever conducted in history. 70 years they followed these 454 children till they were adults and even elders. And they realized that the only thing, after looking at addictions, after looking at mental health, after looking at behaviors and career success and so on, they saw the only thing that correlated with self-esteem was whether that child worked or not, whether they had duties as a child. That was the only thing that correlated with the self-esteem. Now, working, I don't mean now everyone send your kids to work. Go do a paper round, go work in the bread making factory, no. Even they can work at home. They can cut the grass, they can cut the trees, they can help you bake food or whatever. There's many, many duties. What I mean by work is to physically do something of value. We have to let our children mess up. It's very important. We have to let our children mess up when the consequences are affordable. In other words, let your daughter burn the food at home so she doesn't burn it tomorrow in front of her husband and in-laws. Let your son mess up at home so he learns what to do in front of his wife and kids. And if we don't do this, then we are robbing them. We are robbing them of their self-esteem. Every time we jump in and correct them or take over a task, we have stolen their self-esteem. If done quietly, that's a great thing. Well done for doing it quietly. But some of us, we do begola Irania chomak rusar. That's what we do. And this breaks their confidence. The reason why we jump in is evident. Because we love them. It's not because we hate them. Because we love them, we jump in. Because we don't want to see them struggling, we jump in. Because they can't fix a puzzle, we quickly do it for them so that they get happy. Our aim is not necessarily a bad aim that we want to steal it. But it happens anyway, through love or through the lack of patience. I want to tell you 2 very quick stories. And these are personal stories, but I want to show you how simple it can be done and how many times these opportunities present themselves in a day for us to take advantage of it. I have a 2.5-year-old son, and the other day it was the heat wave, it was very hot, so I said, okay, let's go out into the garden and we'll wash the patio because there was some grass cuttings and so on. And he's very funny. Every time I go to do something, he wants to join in, which is normal for what a kid is. They want to do everything their parents are doing. So he wanted to take the hose, and I was thinking, oh God, I need to get back to work. But then I thought, work is work. Let me give him this time. So I gave him the hose pipe, and he began to spray and use the brush and everything to brush away these grass cuttings. And at one point, he went to turn the tap on the hose pipe even more. So it was already on. I turned it onto on a pressure that he can control. Then he turned it up, and he saw it started coming out very fast. He turned to me, he was like, Daddy, Daddy. And I said to him, it's okay. Turn it low. Turn it down. He went, he tried it, and he couldn't do it. Then he turned to me with even more panic and fear. Daddy, help me. Daddy, help me. And my mum was there. She saw as well. And I said, no. You can do it. Go try again. He went, he tried again, and he did it. And the look on his face was priceless. That right there was an investment into the bank of his self-esteem. That right there, for him to see me, when he's scared, we think, oh, it's nothing important, just some water coming out of a hose pipe. Some of us may even get angry and say, I told you, turn it low. But what we have to realize is for a child who hasn't faced such a thing, that to them is adversity. That to them is fear. And if I then react in a panicked way, I also make him panicked and make him scared. So for him to see me emotionally stable, saying, it's okay, Baba, try again, it fills him with confidence. So it's not just the physical aspect of turning it low, it's the emotional aspect of being able to control your fear and face an adversity and come out victorious. You see, that's not me sitting here to tell you, oh, what a wonderful parent I am. No, that's just me trying to show you that even these small things that happen hundreds of times a day, us as parents can take advantage if we are present and intentional. If we view it, every bit of adversity, as a chance to give something to our children. That's when we succeed. Another quick story. One day I came home, I was riding my motorcycle. My son, he greets me whenever I come home. He hears the bike and he comes. And one day he came and he was about to touch the exhaust pipe. And everyone who knows the exhaust pipe is extremely hot. He went to touch it and I saw him reaching for it and I shouted, "No, Baba!" He just touched it, not enough to get burnt, And he quickly moved his away and he looked at me and he began to cry. I went to say, sorry, sorry, sorry. He went straight to my wife. Mummy, mummy, crying. And my heart broke. Because I didn't want to hurt him. I wanted to protect him. Yet he interpreted it as me telling him off for nothing. How did I fix it? Does that mean it's done? No. I realized the mistake and I knew, okay, he needs a minute or two to calm down. Let him cry in my wife's arms. Then I went to him and I explained to him, Baba, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to shout at you, but the exhaust is hot and if you touch it, you'll get burnt. Daddy didn't want you to get burnt, but I shouldn't have shouted. Straight away, God, this Imam Hussein, which these majalis are held in his name, is my witness. Straight away, the look on his face changed, the energy changed, and he began to interact with me again. It's okay to say sorry as a parent. You are teaching them that we also make mistakes, and when we make a mistake, we correct it. When this discipline is done correctly, what does it look like? It looks like a young man standing in the face of 30,000 soldiers, armed to the teeth, ready to rip him apart. It looks like a young man who is willing to pay the steep price of his blood and soul in order to keep the truth alive. It looks like a young man who will let his body be cut into 1,000,000 pieces with swords and spears and arrows and stones, only for the sake of Allah. And it looks like a father who stands there proudly, knowing that death is facing his son, certain death, yet knowing the bigger picture and allowing his son to go through the struggle so that truth wins and duty is done. Historians say that for every valiant warrior that fell on the sands of Karbala, Imam Hussein himself went to bid farewell to them. And he himself would carry them back to the tents to be buried. Yet with Ali Akbar, you see all the youths of the Bani Hashim come, the body of Ali al-Akbar. And you see Abbas holding Hussein and carrying him back to the tents. All while making this short journey back to the tents, they hear the call of their father and grandfather, the best warrior to ever step foot on this earth. His words echoing that verily, the price of your soul is heaven. Do not sell it for less. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين.